This program offers competitive interest rates. It offers veterans and service members opportunity to save money and just make better decisions when it really comes down to it. Oftentimes, people are moving around PCS into different locations, and they don't know about this resource, especially here in the state of Texas. This is exclusive to the state of Texas, and we are completely different, completely separate from your VA home loan benefit.
I have here today Travis Willis, and I reached out to Travis because on my YouTube channel, for those of you who've been following me for some time, that when I was talking about the Texas Veteran Land Board, that one took off. A lot of you guys were watching it and asking a lot of questions, so I went and sought out a subject matter expert that knows a lot more than me, and we're going to do a nice Q&A on talking about this. And Travis, welcome.
Thank you, Omar. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so Travis, I know before we get started with the Q&A, what's that one thing that you want veterans and military members to know about the Texas Veteran Land Board that not many people know about?
I would say one thing is that this program offers competitive interest rates. It offers veterans and service members opportunity to save money and just make better decisions when it really comes down to it. Oftentimes, people are moving around PCS into different locations, and they don't know about this resource, especially here in the state of Texas. This is exclusive to the state of Texas, and we are completely different, completely separate from your VA home loan benefit.
Always want to look for ways to either save money and not leave it any on the table. Okay, so let's get started with the Q&A. First question is, what is the Texas Veterans Land Board and why does it exist?
That's a question that I asked myself about 2 years ago when I started working here. But the Veterans Land Board is a state agency here exclusive to the state of Texas. It was established after World War II for those veterans coming home from conflict. When you really think about it, it duplicated an effort that happened back in 1800s when the Texas General Land Office was established. That's who we work underneath, the Texas General Land Office. And this is just allowing us the opportunity to give back to those veterans that went out and, sacrificed their time, their resources. And now we had the opportunity to continue to do this for both veterans and service members.
Fantastic. So this sounds like it's something on top of the VA loan that veterans that they rate.
Yes, I would say if anything, it's the icing on the cake. We like to say we complement the VA. We're not in any way, shape, form, or fashion in competition. We complement them in a lot of ways in several different portions of our program.
I like that compliment. Okay, next question. What types of loans can veterans get through the Texas Veterans Land Board?
So you can get a home loan, home improvement loan. You can also get a land loan here through the VLB.
So I know when I hear that, it sounds like you guys also do VA loans, and I know you guys don't do that directly. You do have your vendor partners. Can you break that down a little bit more?
Yes. So with the home loans, a veteran can utilize this program in conjunction with their VA, FHA, or conventional financing. So it just gives them more options. You don't know necessarily what people's financial picture really is. So those participating lenders that we have in our network, they've gone through the process of working through our service and loan provider, which is Gateway Mortgage. And we're not gatekeeping. If there are people out there, there are lenders out there doing great work, we want to add more people to that network. But as it sits today, we have about 90 plus participating lenders, and we do FHA, VA, or conventional. Doesn't matter which direction, but those participating lenders can help those veterans figure out what the best course of action would be for them.
Let me give you a scenario. Say a veteran wants to buy land first, because that's probably all you can afford, because land is pretty cheap here in Texas, comparatively speaking, right? So they could use the Texas Veteran Land Board to purchase the land, and then maybe wait a few years to do the VA loan for the home. Is that kind of right?
Well, yes. Oftentimes, people that find out about the VLB, they do the exact thing. They'll buy the land, and we don't have a building requirement. Some programs out there do require you to build within a certain time frame, but the VLB does not require you to build anything on that land. You can sit on that land, shoot deer, whatever it is that you desire to do, get it rezoned, do whatever it is that you please. But you can build on that land if you decide to do so. We won't fund the construction. You have to seek out interim construction financing to get that home built. But once it's complete, you can combine both those loans into one.
Okay. So for like the land portion, is that something directly where you guys are involved in, or is that something where it's like an outside kind of third party for the land piece of this?
That's a great question too, Omar. So I know with the VLB, our land loans are originated through us. So we own every portion of that process. We don't go through the VA and no other entity. Um, Amounts up to $150,000 for a standalone veteran, and then if you're a dual serving veteran spouses, then you can finance up to $225,000 to purchase land.
Ooh, you said that very quickly towards the end. Can you repeat that with if you have a spouse and both of y'all are veterans?
Yes. So if a veteran and spouse, and this is also for service members, I keep saying veterans, that's the misconception. But
Yeah.
if both service members or both spouses both qualify individually for the $150,000 loan, so long as they qualify for that individually, they can they can apply for a VLB land loan not to exceed $225,000. That amount was increased. It was created last year on November 1st through a lot of feedback we got from the veteran and service member community. So we're listening and we're looking, at ways to continuously help help our veterans and service members have some land ownership here in Texas.
That's fantastic. Now, for people who are solo, what's the cap for the land loan?
Up to $150,000.
Up to $150,000. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. How much land can you buy and what are the requirements? What is a good one?
So with the VLB, you can finance up to. Sorry, I'm not talking about finances. You can. This is the land requirements. It has to be at least an acre minimum or bigger, zone non-commercial, fully located here in the state of Texas, has access to an easement, and it can have a floodplain within the property, but it has to be clear of that floodplain at least 1 acre.
Has to be clear. 1 acre has to be clear of the floodplain.
Correct.
Okay. Now, when I first heard about this program, I thought just land rural outside of city limits. Come to find out, it is possible to buy and use this within an established neighborhood already. Is that correct?
100%. As long as it meets our criteria, you can utilize it to purchase that land and build if and when you're ready.
Okay, so if there's like an empty lot somewhere, you can use the VLB to purchase that land, and then do what we said like earlier with using the VA loan down the line if you know so your finances can catch up. But you could totally do that within an established neighborhood, just buying the land.
Right. Yep. And then
Wow.
that'll be up to the veteran or the client to go out and seek that interim construction financing, whether it be VA, whomever it is that they pick. Because I don't want the misconception that it has to be VA. It could be whomever they want to use to get that home built. But they have multiple options. I mean, this program blew my mind when I heard about it. I was before I even got involved in it, had no clue about it. Was in Texas for quite some time, and it's just it's a great thing that you're getting out there, letting us know that this is letting people know this is out there.
Yeah, yeah. And it's one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough, and there's not that much information on there online. If
Hmm.
there is, it's kind of old. And
Hmm.
what you said earlier, kind of year after year, you guys are listening and you guys are making either adjustments or improvements. So it pays to keep up with this stuff, so you don't miss out.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So if you're watching this right now, you're one of the few uh, that's going to take advantage and understand these things, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know, and
Hmm.
you can almost miss out on this amazing kind of like opportunity that only the state of Texas has. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What's one common mistake veterans make when starting out, and how can they avoid it?
One common mistake.
I would say there's so many misconceptions that I'm sure you kind of on the daily kind of have to repeat yourself. Do any of them kind of
hmm
stick out?
I wouldn't necessarily say mistake. I think is along the point that you had before about information being old or not as clear or maybe a bit vague on the site. Um, and I think I covered this twofold: how they qualify. You know, the veteran, the way they would qualify is being on active duty for at least 90 days, not dishonorably discharged, and being a bona fide resident here in the state for at least 1 day. A lot of people, I see a lot of service members at PCS here, and or some veterans that's known about the program for a little bit, and they'll come to me and say, "Hey, I didn't see any land on your website." And the thing that a lot of people are not educated on is that our program is not exclusively for those forfeited land sales or the veterans only land sales. So with this program, the majority of our land sales go to those that have sought out land that they wanted on their own or with a realtor, like yourself. And they'll find that plot of land they really want. As long as it meets our criteria, they can finance it. So this is, I think, just an education piece that we're continuously working on to get out there and let people know, hey, you can find that land that meets our criteria. You don't have to stay exclusively to what you see on the website.
So one thing I would recommend to my viewers is almost asking that question to your real estate agent is if they're a little bit familiar with this program and some of the requirements, because I could see that being kind of like a hurdle you have to jump through if you aren't really familiar, right? And
hmm
someone like myself and working with Travis, and I'm still learning too. I'm still learning too, but I am, if you watch my channel, I am very I do my due diligence when it comes to these topics, so that way I am giving you the best representation when it comes to buying land, figuring out real estate. If you want to, I know I see online a huge trend of especially veterans. They want just to buy land, build their home, and just be away from it all, right?
Right.
And even buy a family compound and be able to almost start that kind of generational wealth. I see that too, and that's something I want to help you with, and that's why I really took the effort to contact Travis and put all this together, because if it's available and it's just a matter of just getting the word out, I can do that.
Most definitely.
Okay, so that was one common mistake. And if you, we are gonna stick to the end of the video, so because we're gonna navigate the actual website, so we can all get familiarized together. Okay, we have a few more questions before we get there. Okay, so next question is, what's the difference between a VA loan and a VLB loan?
That's one we get a lot as well, Omar. So uh, really, there is no VLB home loan. Um, the only loan that we originate and that we have is the VLB land loan. That land loan, you can finance up to 150,000 or $225,000 based off your criteria or your criteria. Did you meet criteria? But the VA home loan, this is where you can attach the VLB's program to your VA FHA or conventional. So let's just say scenario, a veteran or service member decides they want to utilize their VA home loan benefit. Here in the state of Texas, well, throughout the nation, please use your VA home loan benefit or whatever fits your criteria. If it's FHA or conventional, that's cool. But attach the VLB to your VA home loan here in Texas, then you would be able to benefit from our lowered interest rates. Our interest rates typically are a point to a point and a half lower than what you get out on the market. So the actual name of our program is the Veterans Housing Assistance Program, and that's how we help the veteran. There was a scenario where I met a warrant officer at Fort Hood back in October last year. He had gotten a VA home loan at 7% interest rate. VLB that week was 5.4%. So had he known about the VLB, he could have utilized his VA home loan benefit with all of the great things that come along with that, and then the icing on the cake would be that lowered interest rate that we can help him use. He would have just used our interest rate.
Wow. The fact that it's one or like 1.25 point lower than whatever the market rate is, that's huge, ladies and gentlemen. That translates to hundreds of dollars of savings monthly, tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. I mean, that is incredible to have, especially because, interest rates really dictate how much purchasing power you will have when it comes to buying land or your home.
Hmm.
Okay, let's move on. All right, we're almost, I think I have two or three more questions left. So, who is eligible?
Okay, so I would say a veteran that served on active duty for at least 90 days, not dishonorably discharged, and have been a bona fide resident here in the state of Texas for at least 1 day. You could be a member of the Texas National Guard and qualify. You can be a reservist with 20 qualifying years towards retirement to qualify. You could be a surviving spouse of a veteran whose death was service connected or was listed as missing in action. And that's pretty much the gist of the eligibility requirements. And I also want to just make sure I foot stomp the fact that it is for active duty service members as well. Oftentimes, I get that misconception when people see Veterans Land Board, they will walk right past the booth, and I have to stop them. Hey, are you aware of your benefits?
Right, right. Yeah, especially if you're PCS into Texas, because that's something you could totally take advantage of because you're going to be out on active duty still. All right. And again, we're going to, at the end of this video, navigate the website a little bit so that way you guys know how a little bit of where things are at. Because I know when I'm visiting a website for the first time and it's a lot of information, I know that's the first layer of resistance. I'm like, okay, where do I go first? Okay, do all that together. Okay, next question is how much money? Well, we kind of covered that for the Texas
Hmm.
Veteran Land Board,
Hmm.
150, and then
Yes.
for the VA loan, that's all dependent on your debt to income ratio, your credit score, but that's all like independent of that lender that you decide to do the loan with. So that's something for a future video. I'll get on another VA loan expert that will talk about that and we'll break it down even further. So we'll skip that one for now. What
Mhm.
are the down payment and interest rates like?
For the land loan, the down payment is a minimum of 5%. Um, this is a benefit to the veteran and service member because if you go out there and seek a land loan in anywhere else, you're going to put minimum of 20% down. With us, we only require a minimum of 5%. Now, that's not saying that every scenario that the veteran will put 5% down. You may find yourself in a situation where you're putting 7%, 9%, just based off your debt to income ratio and your credit. The interest rate is 7.25%. It's a fixed rate and it does not fluctuate over the course of 30 years. So, there won't be any refinancing options. But you have 30 years to pay it off. You can pay it off as early as you like, no penalty, and you don't have to build anything on that land.
Okay. Okay. What did you say the interest rate was like? I didn't
Uh,
catch
the
that.
interest the interest rate is 7.25%.
Okay. On the land loan.
On the land loan. Now, for our home loans and home improvement loans, um, that interest rate we control that. So for the home loan, it'll be home loan and home improvement loan. Those interest rates change every Friday at 5 p.m. So if you check our website, that'll be the rate you lock in at. This week, we'll be able to pull it up on the website. You'll be able to see what it is for this week. But those veterans with a service connected disability of 30% or greater, they qualify for the discounted rate, which is a half point off the home
Okay.
base rate.
Okay. So that you said the rate for the land loan that doesn't change?
The rate for the loan does not change.
Okay. And that's at 7.2%?
7.25.
7.25%. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the last question, okay? What's the application process like and how long does it take?
For the land loan, there are some homework requirements that I typically like to tell our veterans if they decide they want to purchase some land. 45 to 60 days is the timeline, so long that homework is complete. We like to ensure that the veteran has their debt to income ratio 50% or less. This will get them closer to having that 5% down. We want to make sure that they check their credit, make sure their credit, uh, they don't owe any back taxes or back child support, anything like that to the state. That's the only reason why we run that credit. If we're looking at things that we weigh more heavily, is that debt to income ratio versus the credit. You can have a 530. We don't really care what your credit score is as long as you're in good standing and you don't owe those things I mentioned, back taxes, back child support, things like that to the state. And even if that's the case, as long as you're making payments and getting out of that situation, then we can work with you. Um, But yeah, 45 to 60 days. You want to make sure that that land loan checklist is filled out. So you want to make sure you have your pay stubs uploaded, your DD form 214, very important. Make sure that all of that information is uploaded in your online portal. This process is conducted online. However, there are veterans I've recently helped out that don't like technology, and you can mail all of this information in. There will be a credit application. You will have to, the process officially starts. You can get pre-approval with that credit application, but it officially begins at 45 to 60 days is once we receive the approved contract and survey. Once we get those, that 45 to 60-day process begins from there. Um, and it can be faster as long as all that homework that we mentioned before is complete. It gets you a lot closer to that 45 to 60 window.
Yeah, there is a checklist. Let's actually go take a look at that. That was the last question. We're going to navigate to the website, but just to end on this note, I know a lot of times what kind of will make this process a lot longer is just not having all your ducks in order. And by what I mean by that is like for the financing part, all your bank statements, W-2 statements, your DD-214, all things of that nature has to be like in one place. That way you can upload it or be able to mail that off, because that's part of the process of the financing. It's always going to be lots of paperwork, and just being staying organized is and looking at the checklist so you have everything that they're asking for in a timely manner will make your process go a lot more smoother and a lot more faster. So I know all the back and forth is because you forgot something, because there wasn't a checklist, but we're going to show you what that looks like here right now. Okay, so this is the actual first page I think you'll see if you were to Google Texas Veterans Land Board. And we're going to navigate this together.
Okay. Oftentimes, if you look at any of our material, it'll have a website of vlb.texas.gov, and it's going to redirect you to what you see here, glo.texas.gov. You want to go into the Veterans tab.
Veterans up here, tab, okay.
And then if you look here, you will see all of our programs, land loans, home improvement. We have the forms, the support and documentation. If you want to contact us, you can see our contact information. We have information on our long-term skilled nursing facilities, those homes. And then we also have information for our cemeteries, which we didn't cover here today, but it's a lot of things, a lot of other agencies and programs we have within the Veterans Land Board. So if we want to go into land loans,
Land loans for veterans right here. Land loans. Okay,
land loans.
here we go.
And then scroll down. So this showcases the process for getting a land loan. We have the land loan checklist here. If you click on that tab, this identifies all of the key pieces of information that you're going to need. And like I said, this is completed online. There's a portion on the website where you can log in and uh, start uploading these documents into your portal. And then you will have a loan processor that's assigned to you to help you through the process. And all of the communication is going to be through that portal. So you have to keep an eye on your portal, on your email, and they'll continue communication with you. Even if you're missing any of these things, they'll help you out. They're like, hey, you need to make sure you add this piece of information.
Okay, so there's this nice checklist there.
Hmm.
Okay. Anything
Uh,
else on here that you want to point out?
Not necessarily. If you want to see the apply now, that's what the screen would look like when you're ready to apply.
Well, here's the eligibility that we asked earlier. So in case you want to see it written on and read it for yourself and some of the requirements here, this is really nice the way they laid it all out.
Here you can
Okay.
see the interest rate, 7.25%. And just a little background on that interest rate and how it changes. The board, the actual land board is a three-person governing body. Is the land commissioner of the state of Texas, Commissioner Don Buckingham. And then you have two government-appointed personnel. We have a retired Rear Admiral Judson Scott that sits on that board, as well as a financial expert, Mr. Felder. They make the decision through, there's a process, and when they confer and the decision is made to increase or decrease, that's where we make that decision. But it did increase once over the past 2 years. It used to be 6.95 and now it's 7.25. And if it changes again, it'll be up on the decision, up on that authority.
And it's kind of put up to a vote or decision like once a year, or how what's the time frame on that?
Well, we do quarterly board meetings. So if it's one of the things that they want to discuss and all of the details that go along with it, then they'll have that discussion at that point.
If there's a vote to change it to make it go lower, does that how long does it take before it goes into effect?
I would say almost immediately, because I know it was October of 2023 when it changed, and the within the next month it was already in effect.
Oh wow. So okay, that's not that's very fast when it comes to those an interest rate change like that. Okay. Wow, there's a lot. Okay. Assumptions, transfers. Okay. Anything else you wanted to point out before I was going to go up here and click apply now
Hmm.
to see what that looks like?
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
Okay.
It'll be the screen where they would start out, and that's about as far as we can, negotiate into it. But when they want to start the application, this is where it starts.
Okay. And then this is just like anybody filling out application, a lot of your basic info and creating, I'm
Hmm.
sure, like a login, user access ID, something like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. So they put everything on one screen, which is nice. I really, really like that. Military service records. Okay. Assumptions and acres. Right. So severances. What is that about? We didn't talk about that.
We didn't. So if someone wanted to, uh, if they had a 10-acre lot and they wanted to build a home on it, then they can obtain a title to a portion of the tract to build that house on, and they can combine that with that home and pay that off and still pay on that land loan for the remaining portion.
Hmm. Okay. Now, was there anything else on under the veterans tab that sticks out to you that we want to look at, or is that good enough
Um,
for today?
I would say the home loans.
Home loans right here. Okay.
Yes. So we scroll down. If you click on find a lender,
Oh, and it even tells you the rates right there. I like that.
yes,
Right up front.
yes,
They don't hide
yep.
it. Okay. Find a lender. Here we go.
And then if you want to click, Williamson County. I know you're in Williamson County.
I am Williamson.
And then you scroll down. These are all of the participating lenders that service that area. Um, all of our lenders, the veteran can pick any county. They don't have to stay exclusive to the county that they're living in or the one they're going to. They can work with any lender on this list. It's up to you, the veteran, to shop around. And we do have two allowable fees: the origination fee 1%, and then the 1% participation fee. But there are some out there that would waive some of those fees. So I would just say shop around to see which one you want to work with.
That's nice. That's nice having it all right there. And that was under the veterans tab, home
Yes.
loans. And
Hmm.
then you have home improvement loans. That's pretty cool too.
Yes, and we do originate those. If you want to click into that one, I think this would be pretty cool. So let's say a veteran has that dream, that home. It's almost their dream home, but they didn't quite get everything they wanted. Then they can go on here and check our list of eligible improvements. We'll start here with the home base rate. We do originate this loan, so they can use that same lowered interest rate that we have out there, as well as those veterans with a service net disability of 30% or greater. They'll qualify for that half one off. There is no down payment. The veteran gets the opportunity to pick their own contractor. They just can't do their own work. If you own your house outright, you can finance up to $50,000 to do these improvements on your home over a 2 to 20 year term. And if you don't own your house outright, the max amount is 25K, but you still get the opportunity to do these same improvements that I'll show you here. There is some dollar amounts that you see here up front, but there's no down payment. So there's a title search fee, flood certification fee, and very minimal closing costs associated. But you do get to pick your own contractor. If you could scroll down, it's down quite a bit. You will see a hyperlink that says eligible and ineligible improvements. It go back
Uh,
up a bit, sir. Right there. And this is everything that those improvements you can get done to your home: deck, solar panels, jacuzzi in your bathroom. It's a host of things you can do, and very minimal things that you can't do. And if you look at the very end, you'll see maybe a half a page of things that you can't do.
I see. I have not seen this. Okay. I'm going to download this one. This is good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waterproofing.
Hmm.
Wow. See, all the information is there. It's just where to find it, and then how are you searching for it, right? I know people go on YouTube a lot to learn stuff, as
Hmm.
opposed to like the individual, website. So
Hmm.
I hope you guys are have found us and you're getting a lot of value out of this video, because I know I am, because I have not. Look at this. Look how they broke it down by alphabetical order, and
Yeah.
this is a lot more than I would have imagined as far as improvements. Wow,
Hmm.
a lot more.
There may be scenarios where a veteran potentially couldn't. There's free money through the federal side. And I love pointing people to money they don't have to pay back. I think that's good. They have special housing assistance or special adaptive housing grants that those veterans that uh, need to have their homes altered for ADA requirements, doors widening, counters lowered. That's kind of hard to get. It's hard to get that funding, but through the VLB, you have to pay this money back, obviously, but it still is another option out there to get those improvements on your home to help you have more mobility in your home.
Wow. Okay, so that was the eligible and ineligible improvements you can make.
Hmm.
Okay.
And then another thing I did mention was, there are three different avenues of purchasing land with us. We do offer two other avenues of purchasing land. One you find on your own. The other two are our quarterly land sales. So if you want to go to land sales here, you could
Land
always,
sales. Okay.
yes,
For
sir,
veterans
on
only?
veterans only.
Okay.
Right now, we're in a quarterly land sale. If you scroll down, you can see that it is identified by region, acreage, county, and you'll also see that you can go into the details tab and you'll see all of the details of that land. And we encourage you go out there and check it out. We've got photos, we've got the some of the survey information on here, and down to the grid coordinates. You can go out there and see them. But this land auction, it is going from September the 2nd through October 16th, and you can bid on it all the way up to the day of sale. And if you get the winning bid, you can then apply for VLB financing at that point.
So from September to October, you said? Every year is
Hmm.
when this auction kind of style is open?
Quarterly, we do
Quarterly?
one in, yes, sir. We do one in January, one in April, one in January and July, and one in October.
Okay, so once a quarter, you guys do
Once a
this.
quarter. Yes.
Ah, so 4 times a year. That's super. I did not know that. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, to reiterate, this is what it's available on your website, but if you're working with a real estate agent and you're looking for land, because I can search for that too. I just
Hmm.
have to ensure that it's under the requirement that meets the requirements for you guys, and then we can still get the financing and still be able to do this process. Correct?
100%. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is nice, and this is a nice
Yeah.
website. It's not
Thank
it's
you.
not it's not hard to navigate through once you see it for the first time, right? It's not that hard when you to navigate through.
Hmm.
Okay.
And then if land doesn't sell here at the veterans only sale, excuse me, then it transitioned over to a type 2 sale, which if we go back into, yep,
Yeah.
veterans public, yep.
Okay. Public.
Now this is another portion a lot of people don't know about. I know you may have non-veteran clients and they could also use this portion as well. This is the only portion that a non-veteran client can utilize. If the land doesn't sell at the veterans only sale, then the veterans and non-veterans, this is a public sale. Anybody can purchase this land. Um, these tracks, I think it's about 20 plus tracks on here that's been sitting here for throughout the year. That veterans only sale, you only going to see tracts of land posted during that quarter. Once that land sale is complete, like this one's going to be closed on October 16th, you won't see any more land posted for veterans only until 6 weeks out from the next sale, which is going to start around January timeframe or the end of December. But this one you'll see on the website all throughout the year.
I see. I see. What if
And
some? Go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Oh, a non-veteran, if they wanted to apply for VLB financing for this land, they could do so. Same benefit, 5% down, 30-year term, uh, paid off as early as they want with no penalty, no bidding requirement, and their interest rate will be 8.25%. So they'll pay a 1% higher interest rate, but same benefit. And there's nowhere else you're going to go. You can put 5% down on a land loan.
What? That's another thing I learned. So for non-veterans, there's a space for you on this website where you can buy.
Yes.
Dang, that's crazy.
hmm
Well, let me ask you, not for this one, but for the veterans only.
hmm
If if a piece of land doesn't sell, does it just get rolled over for the next quarter?
No, it transitioned over to the public sale.
The public sale. Okay.
hmm
What if it doesn't sell for the price that they want? Like, and
Um, they the price won't budge. We won't move the price point. The required amount for the bid is going to be the minimum, the amount that's listed here. That's the minimum amount that can be bid.
so let's just use this first one for an example. It's the sales price
hmm
is 125. So
hmm
it's a bid, right? So if I bid $100,000, then
hmm
that would be the current highest bid. Let's just say for this example,
hmm
and there's no other takers because again, not enough people know about this, right?
Yeah.
But they're
Uh-huh.
asking for 125,000. So how would that work
hmm
out then?
They may not even be able to enter it into the system because it has to be the minimum amount that's listed. So if they put $100,000, it's not even going to allow them to enter that as an amount. They could put $125 in one, but they won't be able to uh, do anything less than what's listed on the website.
Okay, so for this example, I would put a $125,000 bid,
hmm
and someone can see that in real time and can offer more.
They cannot.
Oh, so
So
it's not
this
really an
is
auction then in that
it's a
sense.
Yeah, it's a blind bid. So
A
you don't
blind
know who
bid.
you bidding against. You don't know who has the highest bid at that quarterly VLB meeting that we do. That's when we'll roll out the results of who won. And we do that. The land sale and the board meeting are all uh, around the same time, and we always announce it at the board meeting. Hey, these are the winners of the this past quarter's land sale.
Okay, so if I'm following you, if I was to offer a bid of $125,000 for this first one, right? I
Mhm.
wouldn't know if I got that until you guys meet.
Until we notify you. You'll know before the meeting, but we'll
Okay.
notify you. Yeah, you'll know.
Okay. So you would be notified because on the website I would imagine like it says like a start and end date of when they're going to be receiving.
hmm
Okay. So that's why you would know if you. Okay.
hmm
Gotcha. Okay, that's a little bit more clear. All right. All right. Anything else on this website you wanted to cover real quick?
If they want to go into the forms, and there may be some realtors out there that want to start getting educated on the forms, they can click in here in our resource library, and let's just say land loan forms. This is the credit application, the land loan application, the survey requirements. That's the big one. If any issue, I think that's something I should have highlighted. This is the biggest issue we run into is surveys. So if you want to get this in front of your surveyor, your professional, as you see the criteria here, get this in front of a surveyor that you work with, and help you and you as the realtor and the surveyor can combine on this and help the veteran service member get that land they actually want. But that survey is the main thing that I mean, oftentimes it's always a survey that that holds up the process.
I could see that. I could see that. And if you work with me, I have my like personal vendor list of surveyors that I work with that
That's nice.
understand this process. And if they don't understand this process, I know I can definitely walk them through it. And if I can't walk them through it, then I know I can hit up Travis so he can help me, kind of explain these things. But it's not so much for you to, want to learn unless you really are that inquisitive, but just for the real estate agent to understand. So they're communicating with the surveyor like, hey, this is what is required, so that
Hmm.
way there's very little resistance on anyone's end, so we can
Hmm.
keep this process moving.
I mean,
Okay.
I've seen surveys that look like Etch a Sketch. I was like, I don't think that'll work, but
Yeah,
this is helpful to get the information out there.
yeah, and we kind of saw a little bit of that in
Yeah.
the. Let me see. I kind of saw that here, veterans only, because the description this is what they're talking about. Let me see. Can I go
Hmm.
to when you go to details? This right here, legal description and track dimensions and location. That's a big part of what a survey's job is to do, especially if we're talking about rural land, is to write all this
Hmm.
stuff exactly how it is here. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Okay, so with the forms, anything else?
I think that that may be the biggest one I would like to highlight on here, and I think that'll get it. If they have issues looking for their military service documents, we even have links to those. The Department of Archives, you can go and seek getting your information through them as well.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, I'm gonna link. I have several links in the description, so that way you can quickly navigate. And if you want to reach out to me, connect with me, or to Travis to learn more, you'll find that all in the description of this video. But Travis, I really, really appreciate you taking the time, educating us a little bit more about the Texas Veteran Land Board. That is such a unique and awesome benefit for veterans and active duty members that you should
Yes.
totally 100% take advantage of, because you're saving money at the end of the day. And if it's a benefit that you rate and have earned, why not use it? It's just about knowing that you even have it to begin with.